Alright, all you streetlight crusaders and those who got lucky at the blackjack tables tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And now it's time for us to talk about what happened during this week's edition of Monday Night Raw from Wichita, Kansas, which I do believe is the home of Jonathan Coachman, and also the one song lyric I remembered from the Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Yeah, it really stuck out for me. I don't know why. And not to mention, always wanted to visit Wichita, and that may happen in the near future. Who knows? But besides all that, folks, Monday Night Raw would kick off with the Monday Night Messiah, aka Personal Jesus, making his way out to the ring and celebrating the fact of his new disciple in the form of Buddy Murphy, who helped him out last week to defeat the Big Show, Samoa Joe, and Kevin Owens in a fist fight for the ages. And before they could preach any more rhetoric that lasted about 3 to 5 minutes, none other than the Itzo Factor leader of the Nation of Violence and Kevin Owens would make their way to the ring and would say, "Hey, you sound like an asshat lawyer who doesn't know when to stop talking." And instead of talking, I got a feeling the people of Wichita would rather see us fight. And Kevin Owens would back up the claim from Samoa Joe by saying the same thing, only for Seth Rollins to say, "No, we'll fight on our terms, and there's only 2 of you and 4 of us." And then they would bring out the Viking Raiders to join in on the fun, only for the Monday Night Messiah to turn tail and run like he used to back in the day, leaving Razor getting hit with a stunner, and Buddy Murphy, the new disciple, getting a Uranagi, or what I thought was a Sambo suplex so hard I thought he went through the ring, by Samoa Joe. And they would reassess their situation and decide that later on tonight, it would be none other than Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy going up against the Raw Tag Team Champions of the Viking Raiders for the Raw Tag Team Championships. When did they have all this power that they can now make matches? I don't know. And speaking of matches, folks, the first match to take place on Monday Night Raw would be none other than Rey Mysterio going one-on-one against Andrade Cien in a ladder match for the United States Championship. And according to what King said and everybody else, this would be the first ladder match to take place on Monday Night Raw in well over 13 years. Yikes. So they're not counting all the TLC matches that would happen, that actually involved ladders. Because if that was the case, the last TLC match was about, 2-3 years ago? Could be wrong. But either way, folks, action would go back and forth during this match. Not only would include inverted hurricanratas, nasty-looking bulldogs, and even a sunset flip bomb that looked really disgusting, causing Andrade to go outside the ring in a heap. And then probably one of the most oh my god moments of the entire night is when Rey Mysterio was hanging on to the championship, or that, I don't even know what in the world to call that thing where they put 2 belts on top of, for him to get caught by Andrade and for him to land right on the back of his head while trying to do a hurricanrana, for his bell to get rung and for him to be all out of sorts. But when it just looked like he was about to win the championship, Zelina Vega would be right there to interfere by saying, "You're not going anywhere," slap him in the face for Andrade to finish off the International Man of Mystery with a hammerlock DDT from the second highest rung on that ladder for Andrade to retain the United States Championship via capture, I guess. But after the match was over and after Zelina Vega would try to remove the protective padding to try to take out Rey Mysterio once and for all, a fan would jump the barricade with a Rey Mysterio mask, and I thought it was Dominic, but instead it would be none other than Don Quixote himself, Humberto Carrillo, coming back for revenge, but yet when there was only 2 referees trying to stop him, just sat there. You know, I would have been a lot different if somebody tried to end my career by DDTing me onto concrete. I would have went after him up the ramp, but Humberto Carrillo, more, poised for revenge. I don't get it. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would be, well, a local match between Alistair Black and a man with no name that looked like a fighter that would be one of the starter fighters you would have to fight in either WrestleMania 19 or the high possibility of a starter fighter that you would fight in the beginning of the game of Reach. Yeah, the M. Dickey game, if you're wondering. And if you're thinking this guy got any form of offense off on none other than Alistair Black, unfortunately he wouldn't. He would come charging, trying to take out the Dutch Destroyer, and would get destroyed by getting kicked right directly in the face with a black mask and get pinned 3 seconds later for Alistair Black to go back in his comfortable Zen-like position for him to win this match via pinfall. And probably one of the quickest matches of the year. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that match only lasted, 6 or 7 seconds? I could be wrong. And speaking of things that didn't last long, folks, Brock Lesnar, who came out to the ring in tow with Paul Heyman for the 3rd week in a row, which I think is a record for Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar, would still talk about the Royal Rumble, still talk about how Brock Lesnar's gonna dominate it, and would still talk about everything else about Brock Lesnar's accolades and what have you, and would say that the entire locker room is scared to fight against Brock Lesnar. Until the one and only Ricochet would make his way down to the ring and say, everybody might be afraid, but I'm not afraid, and I'm here to challenge you, Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar would laugh, leave the ring, only for Ricochet to say, oh, what's wrong, Brock? You scared? Only for Brock Lesnar to come back, field goal kick him right in the uprights, causing him to wince over in pain and pick up the microphone and say 2 more words than he did any time this entire year by saying, not scared. See, I thought he was gonna go bone crusher and say never scared, but no, not scared. That's it from Brock Lesnar, folks. And I think that'll be the last time you hear anything he says until the Royal Rumble, when he sends people to Suplex City and blah, 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 whatever Paul Heyman said for the past couple of weeks. Moving along. And the next match to take place on Monday Night Raw would feature none other than the Scottish Terminator going one-on-one against the Viper, Randy Orton. And during this match, action will go back and forth and things will get intense in a hurry. Because once things got to the outside of the ring, and my God, I feel bad for that timekeeper or referee or, guy who hands out the water to the people who's operating the cameras, because he would get his lights kicked out by a Claymore kick gone bad. And then, Drew McIntyre would just shrug his shoulders and say, hey, it's a war, it happens. And once action got back inside the ring and he would try to do his Claymore kick to Randy, Randy would hit him with a power slam so hard I got a feeling it snapped his back in half for a near fall. Then Drew McIntyre would counter back with a glass cow kiss for a near fall, and would even do a belly-to-belly suplex, tossing Randy over to the other side of the ring like if he was nothing. But still, this incredible match would come to an end at again when none other than Gallows and Anderson would come along to ruin the fun, only for Randy Orton, or more or less, I should say in this case, Drew McIntyre, to get a steel chair to combat against the OC. And once that was all over, Randy Orton would take his revenge by hitting a sweet RKO from out of nowhere on Drew McIntyre for him to pick up the microphone and say, now I see why in the world they call it an RKO from out of nowhere. But trust me, at the Royal Rumble, I will destroy you and I will win and go to WrestleMania. And trust me, Drew, I believe you. I really, really do. And the next thing to take place on Monday Night Raw would feature none other than Becky Lynch going one-on-one against Kyrie Sane. And during this match, while Asuka was in the corner of Kyrie Sane, that would be more fuel for the fire for Becky Lynch to beat the living daylights out of one Kyrie Sane. Because during this match, action would go back and forth, and you would even see Asuka getting a bird's eye view of all the action from the top rope, which the referee would allow. Which is strange, because I'm pretty sure he would tell her to get off that top rope and go back on the corner or something like that, like they usually say during matches, but he didn't care. But would it seriously affect the performance of one Becky Lynch? Like we said before, no. Because once she found an opening, she would hit a Bexploder right directly into the disarmor to make Kyrie Sane tap out in the center of the ring to win this match via submission. But after the match was over, folks, well, let's just say, boy, oh boy. You would see Asuka come back to the ring with a vengeance because Becky Lynch did knock Asuka off the top rope and would pay for it with a Shining Wizard, which we thought was a tiger knee right to the face. And then you would see Becky Lynch on the ground in pain while Asuka would celebrate all the way up the ramp for a little bit of momentum heading into the Royal Rumble this Sunday. Oh man, she's gonna pay for that. And I guess with that said, folks, we might as well go ahead and grab a glass of water, and when we return, we'll be back with the second half of what happened on Raw from Wichita, Kansas, as the Tuesday Night Special continues right after this. So don't go to that fridge for that midnight snack just yet, folks, and stay tuned.